3, 2, 1, go! Greetings, citizen of the future, inhabitant of tomorrow. I'm Tom.
I'm Galen.
And, what happened?
Green lovebird fell.
That's just how it is. 15 minutes of FUME!
Wait.
We are here, yet again, continuing our sniff through the Winter 2020 collection, which is soon to become the early Winter 2021 collection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think we're going to change the branding per se. We'll just call it Winter. You'll know what to do with it. I counted this morning and we recorded 74 15 minutes of FUME episodes this year.
That's a lot of minute of FUME.
Especially when you consider that most of them were a great deal longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's many hours of FUME. And it's striking to me because we did not set out to do this. This was not part of the plan of the year. This was just a response to suddenly being adrift and unable to reach people that we are used to seeing, and just wanting to cheer folks up. And the fact that there is some utility to these videos for folks who can't smell these perfumes at an event like they would in the past is really fortunate, because I have a hunch we would just be sitting here and talking anyway just to cheer ourselves up, if no one else.
Totally.
So
Green lovebird is attentive.
this was the year of the lovebirds, who were part of our Lupercalia collection and became poetry stars, inspiring dozens and dozens of original works of poetry. And for the Yule, I asked Elizabeth, the perfumer, if we could maybe do some kind of lovebirds reunion perfume situation and work that into Yule. And especially because I think these little decorations that inspired the whole thing are probably Christmas decorations to begin with. And she was all for it, except for we had so much juggling, and in the end, when she let me know that there was this collection of Winter Duets, 2-note fragrances, I thought, what about just having, the lovebirds kind of host that collection? So here they are, and the photo that's on the label and that we used to promote the series is actually from our real-life Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
That we put up the week before Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
in an act of desperation to feel good. And it's just been lovely. So we have here with us today the full 10 perfume array of Winter Duets. All of them, I counted. There are 10 on the website. We have 10 here. We're going to smell them in alphabetical order.
I would like to say that last night I had a dream that we were getting ready to film this video, and Tom suddenly said, you know what, we actually can't film it. Beth is going to redo all of these duet perfumes because they don't work. And
they don't work.
That's what the dream was. And I was like, but we're all ready. Like, and I'm like, why do they not work? Like, what about
work.
them doesn't work?
Like that's ever stopped us before. We take perfume to a level beyond functionality.
Yeah.
We are just like, we create Frankenstein's monsters, some of which go off to accomplish great things, others, murder villagers. It's really not it's just we're the creators.
Yeah.
We abnegate all responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that that's not a true thing that happened or a prophecy, because we've already started shipping them out. There's no way we're getting the birds back in the bag.
Right.
So
weird dream.
I love a bee-pal dream. I don't really have a lot of them. Isn't that funny?
I don't either.
You'd think that we're so saturated in this, you'd think I dream all the time about it, and it doesn't come up a lot for me. So maybe because this is one of the first jobs that I've had that doesn't elicit like actual nightmares.
Yeah. I still have housekeeping dreams where I'm like late to work, and it's also a new job, and I have to learn the layout of the hotel.
And there's a woman in the bathtub.
There's a woman in the bathtub, yeah.
I, for a while, did have dreams around when we were doing DragCon and we collaborated with Disasterina. I started having Disasterina dreams where I, like, several nights in a row dreamed that I met up with Disasterina and we were just hanging out and talking and stuff. And at some point I actually texted Disasterina, who I do not know well, and was like, this is so weird, I keep having dreams that we're hanging out. And then I'm like, also I know that's like a weird thing to text someone, so I figure if you're Disasterina, you probably, that's like the least weird text message you got that day. So
maybe, yeah.
And then we were like making plans to actually hang out, and then the pandemic happened, and it was like,
yep,
no. So
should we smell these things?
Oh my god,
We're kind of floating away.
Never ask. I mean, it's the last video of the year. We can kind of do whatever we want, right?
We all float down here.
I think
and all the perfumes work.
Also, we are a duet, which I think is really sweet. Like, we complement each other so nicely, and it's just nice to smell Winter Duets with the person that I am duetting with in life as in these videos. So.
All right. And which part of Jackson are you taking?
What?
The song, Jackson.
Jackson?
We're going to do a duet.
There's a song called Jackson?
Yeah.
Who sings it?
Several people have, but Johnny Cash and June Carter, for example.
I don't know the song.
Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood. Head on down to Jackson.
Are those real people? Is Jackson a place? It's a state of mind.
It's a state of mind and a place.
You say that and I was like, are they singing about the Jacksons? Like, did June Carter and Johnny Cash visit the Jacksons at some point and then write a song about it? And if so, why hasn't that been made into a movie? Well,
so
anyway.
The perfumes are
the first one that we're smelling is called Amber and Cardamom. There were quite a few cardamom perfumes this year. And I love an amber, and I have to say, when I bottled this one, I think this is the one, it was like, I was amazed at how exceptionally thick and gooey the oil was. It was luxurious.
I love this.
It's really resinous, like, it reminds me of the balsam note that we've smelled in the past. Sweet and spicy and kind of, but yeah, like a real, like a gumminess to it.
Did you try any on?
It's on my fingers, and I didn't end up putting it anywhere, and I don't know why. Anyone who is trying to track my motivations at this point as like a human or a perfume sniffer is just left with countless mysteries. Whew. So the great thing about these scents, aside from the fact that I don't have to read about them on the internet because the ingredients are listed on the label.
Yeah.
Is that they're relatively self-explanatory. There's not like a lot of interpretation involved.
Yeah.
So we can share associations or preferences or like describe what balance the notes have to each other. Like, for example, what would you say is leading the show here?
Well, I mean, as any good quality duet, they're both really taking their leads. It sounds like amber and cardamom, and I'm really enjoying both.
I would say that this is, on me, a little more amber heavy, and it's the closest I've come to smelling kind of a pure amber in stuff that we've released for a while. Amber is a very common perfume component, and we use it a lot.
Amber's everywhere.
Amber's everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm not like a huge cardamom wearer in general. What's nice about this is it does not really read. It definitely smells like incensey to me. It doesn't read as like a gourmand blend.
No, yeah,
it's like comforting and it's sweet, but not in an appetizing way. It has a kind of like a crumbly, almost like dusty smell.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Are you getting that?
Kind of like a crumbly resin. Almost.
Yeah.
Incense resin.
I mean, it really to me smells like if you were smelling, like put your nose into a jar of like resin tears or crumbles or, you know.
Did you say resin tears?
Yeah, like tears of how, like that's how it's.
Wow. Resin tears.
Yeah,
I've never heard that before.
A lot of these are like saps and stuff that have hardened and are gathered in tears. Am I wrong? One of the things that I love about these videos is that people will let us know when we're wrong. And one of the other things that I like about these videos is people often decline to go out of their way to let us know when we're wrong. So
That's kind.
we really win either way.
Kindness.
So, number 2 is CANDLEWAX and chocolate. Okay, I think I bottled this.
You did. I remember that day.
So,
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day. I dimly recall the day happening. So, as is customary, in the bottle, this is like blasting the chocolate. A really kind of milky chocolate. Just kind of rich and sweet. The candle smell kind of blooms up underneath it. So at first it's like I get the chocolate, then I get chocolate with a hint of candle, then I get chocolate and candle braided together like really seamlessly.
Yeah.
And gradually I get this interesting candle smell, which is not really smoky, it's like beeswaxy.
Yeah.
With just like a hint of chocolate.
I'm flipping out. I really am. This is great.
Put on your seatbelt. Don't forget to put on your seatbelt.
I'll try. Oh, I've got
in case we roll over. Lovebird hair.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
I'm
stuff.
I'm kind of speechless, actually.
Except for you're literally talking.
But all I can say is wow.
What I love about this is you get that like little kid frenzy of like delight in the sweetness of it, and then it kind of gradually sobers up into something like an adult human might, passably enjoy. It's something for the kid in you who gradually dies and makes way for the adult in you who gradually dies.
Whoa.
In the beeswax too, as that blooms upward, there's like a kind of a spiciness in that. Because what I think is interesting about beeswax in general as a scent is it's not just this like neutral, like dead wax smell. It has a kind of like a living funk to it because it's produced by,
bees.
Insect colonies avidly working and gradually taking over humanity unless we kill them all first. But
it's almost like that. What it's reminding me of is like the chocolate that has like honeycomb in it.
Yes, it does. This is like as the beeswax steps forward, it kind of weirdly gets richer and richer because like the milk chocolate is a rich scent, but it's also kind of like limited in its complexity. And I love that this kind of just like opens up and opens up as you wear it.
Delightful.
So do you still smell any chocolate here on mine? It's like kind of like
you're getting waxier.
And getting waxier. And that is among my favorite compliments to receive. I get waxier with every passing moment. So we'll come back to her in a minute. But now I would like to talk about cinnamon and clove.
And what would you like to say about them?
I would like to say, okay, in the list of duets, okay, this is not as like exciting to me because cinnamon and clove are just like,
two spicy ladies.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I just feel like it's not that difficult of a combination to accomplish. That being said, and even Elizabeth wrote in the intro to this, that the process of making these duets is more complex than it seems because you can't just like schlop two oils together and then expect them to do what you want them to do. Like there are other components and like tricks of the trade to arrive at like the perfect scent. But like regardless of whether this is like an incredibly original holiday scent, I have to say that it is bang on in terms of being like a smell of the season. Also, instead of going into like a really sticky sweet kind of like pomander kind of place with this, it really has a kind of like a dry crackle. Like it really smells like raw spices.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this isn't just like some kind of like overly spiced cider kind of thing going on. It has like a real burn to it.
Yeah.
And I would probably say to be really careful about where you put this one because if your skin is sensitive to cinnamon, as many people's are, and mucous membranes in general.
You should not be putting perfume in your mucous membranes anyway.
No. No one needs to, like, scent their mascara.
Come on now.
What I'm getting from this, though, like, is, I mean, it's like, it takes it to kind of a weird incensey place because the spices are so pure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not like, there's nothing innocent about this. It's kind of like almost like a little bit intimidating, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna press my hand to my face so many times that I'm gonna wreck my lipstick. 2020 is the year that I learned about brown lipstick and the power that it contains, which is something that I think more people should learn how to harness. The throw on this is impressive. I mean, we know that these particular oils are really potent anyway. Like, I can, you got your cinnamon, you got your clove, and now they're like the Wonder Twins, and they're going to kick some ass.
Yeah.
All right.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. As much as I was thought it was not like as an exciting a combination, I can't deny the power and potential of it as a fragrance. So it's just very comforting also. The next one, though, flipped my wig. We got your cranberries and popcorn. So, of course, this instantly evokes images of like Christmas tree garland. Also, cranberries and popcorn are both foods that you can eat, but like are rarely eaten together, as far as I know. Yeah. So I was just very excited because, first of all, the Lab's popcorn note doesn't come out very often. We don't get to play around with the popcorn very often. So the first thing out of the bottle, it's like a really zinger tart cranberry, fresh from the bog. Did you know that cranberries are grown in a bog?
Oh, sure. I did a report on them in grade school.
That's so Galen.
I talk about grade school a lot on here.
It was kind of like your shining moment. And then life happened. So
learned all about cranberries. The popcorn is very strong to me.
It is. It's like a kind of a rich buttery popcorn.
I don't know if I'm going to try this on because I'm kind of scared as to how I'm going to amp it and be able to get rid of it later.
I think it's really...
I'll just smell it on you.
Well, good luck. The tartness...
Would it leave?
No, it's here.
Oh.
The tartness of the cranberry kind of recedes a little bit. It's sweetening up on the skin, which is weird because I always think it's like in the bottle as often as sweet as it gets. But the popcorn really has a kind of a... I don't know. It's just kind of like flying off the skin.
Yeah. Potent.
It kind of reminds me of popcorn balls. You know?
That makes sense. Dude, they have cranberries in them.
No, but when I was a kid, we would make popcorn balls, or they would be made for us around Christmas time, and there would be red ones and they'd be green ones, and you'd get to play that amazing childhood game of imagining that differently colored objects actually taste different. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, well, I have to eat a red one and then a green one, so I get to try both, even though they are exactly the same except for the food coloring.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you get older, you forget about these things, mostly because you stop eating popcorn balls because your teeth hurt.
Yeah.
Although I did, at one point, innovate a soft popcorn ball recipe that does not hurt you to eat. I haven't ever made it for you.
I don't think I've ever had a popcorn ball.
It's like a Willy Wonka situation. It's like, and there are soft popcorn balls. Delicious.
I'm good.
Well, if I make them, I'm definitely going to add cranberries, and then all hell will be unleashed. It smells nice.
It does. It smells like Christmas.
It weirdly does. Even
That's
though...
like all I can say. Cranberries and popcorn.
Although, what's great is if you smell this, like, randomly on somebody, I mean, it's, like, fruity and tart and kind of, like, buttery. It reminds me a little bit of Knave of Hearts. A little bit, because of it, instead of a pastry thing, it's more of a popcorn thing, and instead of a currant thing, it is a cranberry thing.
That actually, yeah.
But it's the same blend of a kind of like a buttery gourmand
and fruit,
minus the rose petals. But you know, no one's perfect. What have we got next? Is that Did I do it? Did I do it? Next is fir needle and smoke.
Uh-oh, that sounds dangerous.
Fir needles cannot hurt you
No,
that much.
I mean just the smoke component.
Oh!
Is the tree on
I thought
fire?
you meant like they were like real needles, and I was like,
No, I'm not dumb.
you need to get out more.
I went to grade school.
Oh, believe me, I went to grade school. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about some of the various coniferous evergreen blends that are inevitably part of any self-respecting winter perfume collection.
The lid.
Yes. This one I enjoy because it's like unlike some of the others that are kind of minty or offset with vanilla or whatever. This is a pure, kind of dry, scratchy, almost like phosphorescent evergreen. And then that smoke is really like it sobers things up. So it's like definitely not like a... I find it really soothing, but it's not like a cheerful, jolly, merry, like winter holiday scent. It's more like trekking through the woods, hoping to reach your destination before you freeze to death kind of winter holiday.
Yikes.
Which, if you're having one of those right now, why are you wasting your signal streaming this video? Call for help.
It doesn't exactly smell like a tree is on fire, which is kind of what I was anticipating.
No, it's not like the fir needles themselves are on fire. It is fir needles and smoke.
Yeah. Smoke's coming from somewhere else?
Yes, and in fact I would say the fir needle is dominant in this blend. Like it's kind of
I would say that
leading the way, and the smoke is just kind of wafting through and around them.
Yeah.
Also, I just really love a sophisticated pine scent, or fir, pine. It's like all the same, isn't it? Oh no, there are leaf blowers. Can you just pretend there are not leaf blowers, or go to like an imaginary place where it's blowing fir needles, and the smoke is the leaf blower exhaust, and everything's just the way it's supposed to be.
Everything's fine.
I like that, like any like tiniest hint of sweetness is just kind of because of like that juicy sort of like sap kind of smell that you get from freshly cut fir, pine, spruce, whatever, what have you. Oh my god, that noise. There is apartment renovation happening in our building again.
So that's what that is.
Well, for the sake of our video, we're just going to pretend that those are sort of like psychopomps deconstructing the year. It's like the teardown. 2020 is going out. The moment filming is over, like they're breaking down the set.
Wow.
It's just being eaten out from under us. It's like the Langoliers.
Ah.
So,
well, what's next?
Our next is, oh my gosh, this one excited me. Narcissus and Snowflakes, plural, not one snowflake. Also, snowflake singular just sounds like a kind of like cocaine. Okay, so this is like one of the few florals in the Winter Duets. And I don't have like a particularly detailed scent knowledge of various floral notes beyond some of like the more obvious ones. But so I was excited to kind of do a little Narcissus testing. This is as close as I'm probably getting to like a Narcissus single note, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to tell it apart from the snowflakes component. So one would think. I'm getting more of a kind of like a mineralic, like aquatic note from the snowflakes, as opposed to kind of like the minty or cold frozen note that is in a lot of the winter scents.
Yeah.
So it's like it really has kind of like a more meteorological smell to it, to my mind, like melting snow. And then the flower itself is kind of like a nice, I want to say almost kind of like green vegetal note. Like I don't really understand what a narcissus smells like.
Yeah, I don't either. I guess it smells like this.
Yeah, I guess it smells like this. What's nice about it is I think that it definitely has like a floral quality. I would recognize this as a floral scent, I guess, but it's not super perfumey, Mm-hmm. Can I smell it on you? Yeah. It's like relatively understated. It's kind of like dark and mysterious. It's elegant. I would say it's the most elegant of the ones that we've smelled so far today. I'm like, oh wow, it's next to the fir and smoke and the popcorn. I'm kind of getting it all at once. Wow, it just took me, I went like full Christmas Village right then. I like transported. I'm like Narnia'd almost.
More than a duet now.
Yeah.
Now it's like a whole Christmas choir.
Woo! Yeah.
Post-Christmas choir. New Year's choir. Winter choir.
Do you have anything, do you want to smell it on me? Did I already make you do that? What have you got?
It's kind of just what you said.
Yeah, okay.
It's a green, kind of aquatic, soft.
Soft, but dark.
Dark.
It definitely feels...
I don't really know. I
really like this.
It is very interesting.
It reminds me more, and this is looking ahead a little bit, of some of the perfumes that from the Lux Bromalis series that we're gonna review next week in the new year, that are inspired by the paintings of wintertime. This, I get a really strong sense of like visuals and place from it. And it's also like the Fir Needle and Smoke one is one of the duets that kind of takes us outside as opposed to some of these cozier, more indoor scents. So I appreciate that there's like a full spectrum of travel in this collection. Now see here we are, peppermint and pine. So yeah, this is like kind of what I was talking about with like we had marshmallow snow. We've had like but like this, okay, wow. No, go all the way in the bottle. Your eyes will roll right back in your head. I mean, these are two really potent components.
Very different.
And very different. Also, note that there's not like a sugar note mentioned anywhere. It's not like peppermint sugar. So it's really like I feel like it's exfoliating my face, just bringing it close. Really intensely sort of a vaporous, dry. No, there's like no sentimentality at all here.
Yeah.
It's just like fresh and kind of dark. It's not like a cheerful scent.
It's not.
Which is, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, we kind of have to, in creating a full spectrum of winter scents, like, I love that there are, like, Marshmallow Snow was almost kind of, like, ridiculously cheerful to me. And I loved it for that. But I know that people have different needs. Whoa.
Cold and dry.
Yeah.
Like a cold, dry wind in the woods.
Yeah. It's kind of like making my eyes feel shiny in that way, like when you use like the menthol inhaler, you know? It makes me a little glassy-eyed. It's great. As a result, I think that this has like longevity outside of the holiday season also, because it does, again, not Christmassy, not evoking like the coziness and comforts of the holiday, and instead it's just like winter. The deer are starving. Not all of them are going to make it.
God.
So, yeah.
That's dark.
Well, I'm not the perfumer. I'm just the messenger.
Those
so
poor deer.
now, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm curious to smell this because it's been sitting a little while. Rosewater and myrrh. I love how this takes us like right back inside. It's like, okay.
Okay, too cold out. So we're going to head back in and light some incense.
I mean,
gather
really
round the altar. I'm having trouble smelling things because I think there's too much wafting through the air. All I smell is pine right now.
Yeah, I understand. Also, one thing to note about this, at least in the bottle, is the myrrh is like right there. Like because I mean the rosewater is a more fragile note in general. Rose, of course, has its own bombast, but the rosewater note that we use, like it's like a little more delicate, and myrrh does not, hold back in this battle.
Oh, I love that. I'm
I'm
so happy we went inside. It was really cold out. This is where I want to be.
So it's like a really just beautiful, strong, almost like straight myrrh, and then This whole segment would be more fun if I could roll my R's properly, and I could just do it every time I say MYRRH instead of MYRRH, which is like how my Midwestern ancestors would say it.
MYRRH.
MYRRH. And then, though, what I love about this is it kind of like, you know, the MYRRH makes its point, and then the rosewater kind of just like blossoms up around it, you know?
Yeah.
It just kind of really unfolds gradually. And as you can see from watching, it's just been a couple of minutes, and I feel like it's just kind of slowly asserting itself. And what's nice about that is it kind of like, I don't want to say it cheers it up, because rosewater isn't exactly like a cheerful scent, but like the MYRRH is so dramatic, and the rosewater is just kind of like lighter, and they really complement each other nicely.
Yeah.
They both have a lot to say, and it's kind of, they're like friends that are like, you're kind of surprised that they're friends.
Yes. An unlikely friendship.
Like you wouldn't have introduced them necessarily to each other. It's like we were talking about, like, you know, like people who just became friends because they ended up sitting next to each other in a class for a semester, and it's like that's just how it works sometimes. It's really lovely. What I love about it too is like a lot of the rosewater scents that we have done are like on the whole a little more fragile and ethereal and whatever, and this just kind of isn't like that. It has, you know, gravity and drama, but then also, you know, it sparkles a little bit.
Yeah.
Next up, oh my gosh, we're running out of them. This is number 9, and that is, oh my gosh, that print is small. Sandalwood and Lily of the Valley.
Okay, well, I'm smelling sandalwood.
And I'm smelling Lily of the Valley.
You got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
I'm running out of places to...
What about this arm? Has this arm been used at all?
I mean, who can...
I have not been keeping track.
Who can tell? Who can be sure? In these uncertain times. Okay, well, I do have a
I
little
like
bit
this just based on the sandalwood, but I'm curious to see how Lily plays, because I'm not sure if I like
that.
Lily.
That is class. That's class in a bottle right there. It's smooth. It has like a recognizable sandalwood component, which I think will speak to people. Like it'll be familiar enough to where they'll kind of like, you know, it's not like, what is that? What is that? A person? No, but then the lily is kind of right there to kind of like twist it in a direction that you're not used to going. So you kind of, I feel like I kind of go back to it a few times expecting to go into the normal sandalwood place, and then I end up somewhere else, and I'm just like, how did I end up here?
This is nice.
It's really nice.
I'm mostly getting sandalwood, but it smells like a different kind of sandalwood that I'm used to. Like
And
it's familiar but new.
That's because
You
the
know.
lily itself is its own kind of like, I always think that the lily notes have a kind of an incense quality themselves.
Wow.
It's just like a really elegant, kind of like almost woody floral as it is. I don't know. Am I just making shit up?
Maybe.
What I'm trying to say though is that it's not like a really sweet and lively floral scent. It has its own kind of like somber quality.
Yeah.
And then mixed, I mean, the blend in this is seamless. Like it's like a gradient where it's like sandalwood and lily, and then it's just like seamlessly blended between. You can't like pick the point where one ends and the other begins.
I really like this.
This is one too that I think that like really no two people will interact in the same way. Like if you're more on one side or the other, like, oh well, I can wear sandalwood, but I'm iffy about the lily, or like vice versa. It's really anyone's guess for you. I think you really need to be in it for both.
Or just put your reservations about Lily aside, because
Yeah.
I just had to put mine aside, and I am impressed.
Galen's a tough customer. I know everyone thinks that he's just this adorable, well-dressed
Idiot.
idiot with hilarious facial expressions, but
Much more than that. I'm apparently a tough customer.
very tough. Idiot. Wow, I love this.
Yeah.
I want, like, actually, I think I would put this in a bath. It's really relaxing. Like, I can feel it working on me.
Wow, there you go.
Spiritual. It does have a spiritual quality. I mean, I know a lot of sandalwood scents have that, and like.
But there's a reason.
Yeah.
It just is. That's the way it. Sorry.
Speaking of spiritual, that brings us to our final libation, which is
the most spiritual of all.
Weed and whiskey.
Whoa.
I just thought that was great because this, I think, is like it's the last one listed alphabetically, so it kind of is waiting for you at the end of the list. And if you get to the end of the list, it's like
the most surprising two out of all.
Well, that weirdly is important to holiday traditions, isn't it?
And next up, performing Jackson, we have Weed and Whiskey, which will really get you performing Jackson.
Wow.
If you know what I mean.
So did the Jacksons ever do a version of Jackson?
Not that I know of. That would be great.
Would any surviving Jacksons like to indulge me and take this on? I can't imagine they're fans of the show. Would you like to smell the perfume?
I can't imagine they're fans of the show. When I smelled this after you had bottled it, I just cracked up. And I was like, well, that certainly smells like what it says on the label.
I get, in the bottle, of course, I haven't put it on the skin yet. The whiskey is hitting me the most because it has that boozy quality where it's just like, again, the vaporous, like you can almost get like the cartoon like stink lines.
Airborne, truly airborne.
Coming off of it. So it doesn't have like the really rank weed, like pumpkin doob smell that we were laughing at before because it was so hilariously weed smelling. However,
weed smelling.
Once the alcohol vapors like fly off, I would say that the weed is providing like the base of this scent. Which makes sense because those components, you know, they're sticky, they're dense. The whiskey is just kind of like sloshing around and eventually like dries up, but the weed is like, you know, the weed crumbles are just right there in the glitter where they always were. I do like too that they kind of bring out each other's kind of natural hint of sweetness. Like I know that whiskey is not like sweet, but it's a complex array of tones and flavors. I'm still mostly getting the whiskey. What are you thinking?
I think I like this.
Shocker.
Well, honestly, I don't wear a lot of whiskey stuff, so that's kind of why I was like, I don't know if I'm like how this is gonna wear, but I would wear this.
Smell your arm.
I'm mostly getting whiskey, but because I am very familiar with the lab's weed note, I'm like, I can definitely smell it.
This is the last time I'm smelling Galen's arm in 2020. Probably.
Well, you might smell my arm later. Who knows? We have a whole day.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
What if I put on something else and I'm like, can you smell this?
What I love is that this weirdly smells clean.
Yes.
It has that, like, antiseptic alcohol quality. Not that I would, like, you know, treat a gunshot wound with whiskey because I'm not, like, a Civil War battlefield surgeon. But, like, it has a cleanliness in the alcohol. And the weed scent is herbal in a way that my brain is interpreting as clean. So
I agree with that. It's not like it's not a super it's not like a dirty weed and whiskey low down hardy party rhymey timey kind of thing, me wingy, but it's aromatic, but like crisp.
It's weirdly elegant.
Yeah.
You know, this is not like...
It surprised me. It really surprised me.
This is not a party in a van.
You don't smell like a bar.
Or a van.
You know, or like a hangover.
In a van.
In a van. Down by the river.
We're just parked outside.
This doesn't smell like the Mystery Machine.
Should we get... Oh my god. It's like the adult mystery machine, but that actually sounds so dirty.
No, it doesn't.
We're solving adult mysteries now. It's the chilling adventures of Scooby-Doo.
Oh god.
And we solve adult mysteries in the adult entertainment world. That's my pitch.
What do you think, WB?
I can get you a full season treatment basically by Monday.
Anyways, I really like this.
BPAL can do the fragrances. I guess I was going to ask about standouts, but I think I can remember that you liked...
Amber and Cardamom, I did really like the CANDLEWAX and chocolate.
Cranberry and popcorn has power. Like it is louder than a lot of the other ones that I'm smelling right now.
What else
The
do I
Narcissus is gorgeous. Just a hint of cold crispness. These are holding relatively stable in terms of not transforming too much, I have to say. I love kind of picking through them. They're very recognizable compared to
I really like the Sandalwood and Lily of the Valley, and I love the Rosewater and Myrrh. So basically, I'm going for the incensey indoor scents, and I would like to avoid the cold outdoors in this chilling winter that we are enduring.
Well, that is a choice.
They're nice. The outdoor ones are nice. However, I'm going to stay inside.
You've made your choice.
Put on a sweater.
I have to say that I'm like hovering around more of the outdoor ones myself. That Narcissus definitely has a kind of like a covered porch in a winter rainstorm kind of smell to me, where you can smell the plants and also the precipitation. Sandalwood and Lily is gorgeous, and I guess it's kind of indoors. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to set up like a...
I would just say it's more indoors because it smells kind of incensey.
Well,
I don't know, it doesn't really smell outdoors.
We will leave you to your own determinations. Based on your life experiences, you might have vastly different takes on where these scentscapes might be occurring and why. But thank you for listening as we ramble about our own spontaneous associations with various winter duets. And
74 episodes.
74 episodes. My God.
And what, 100 episodes? Do we get a cake like they do on TV shows?
No, we don't get.
Oh.
We don't get anything.
Maybe we get a cake.
We get the joy of having something really special to show for all of this very strange time, and we have ring lights that we got to help with this. So, I mean, that's more than some people get.
Yeah.
Treat yourself to a nice ring light if you can. I have to say, it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that is Tom and Galen and the Lovebirds signing off from the final 15 minutes of Fume video of 2020. Can we make them kiss? They're not touching. Yeah. So. Ah!
Oh no.
Ah!
Lovebird dander. It's in the air.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure it's very carcinogenic.
Oh no. Not my sweet lovebirds.
It's possible they were discarded for a reason that had nothing to do with aesthetics and might have been government mandated. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to this and so many of our past romps through the world of Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab fragrances, and we will be back with you in the new year with new fragrances and old jokes, and it's just gonna be like that. All right?
Good.
I was going to do like a party whistle noise, and I realized it would just be horrifying if I attempted it and that no one would understand what I was doing. So let's just say goodbye.
Party whistle noise.